What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Hotterman. This is Blinker Top. What's up, my man?
What is up, everybody? Man, it is always fun to get on here and talk about Oaklawn Park and the Rebel Stakes, and that is what we're going to do. Hard to believe we're back for another Rebel. It was kind of a disaster last year, but with everything that was going on. But I think it's going to be a lot better this year as far as the surrounding issues with the world and the Rebel Stakes.
No joke. Yeah. I mean, that's it's we're kind of we're at that year mark, right? Because this is about the time last year when things had completely gone from this is kind of a big deal to, oh, this is shutting down everything. This is sports are gone, and at this juncture, we didn't know how long horse racing would be left, and so, yeah. And honestly, that was one of the things that was, I'll say this because I had a last minute addition to my best thing I saw today. I'll get to that in a little bit, but this was going to be is just how the fact that we have this Derby fever again that we didn't have last year at this time, because when you would be expecting it, we just were like, we don't even know if we're going to run the Derby. Are we going to run it? Are the fans going to be there? Are they going to cancel it completely? Or is horse racing going to be canceled completely? So you just you couldn't get excited. And then you couldn't even get excited about prospects because you're like, well, hell, who knows when they're going to run them next? Because, Authentic put the brakes on. Everyone kind of stopped, And so having, seeing Prevalence run today at Gulfstream Park, which we can talk a little bit about that performance, but kind of, it got the juices flowing. Obviously, last weekend was a huge weekend of Derby preps. And just it's just awesome to be in mid-March now, have the Rebel, have it mean a lot. And we're just a couple months away, less than 2 months away to the Derby.
Yep, it really is. I can remember doing the show a year ago today on Thursday, and I was going to the Rebel, and the fans were still going to be there and everything like that. And by the time I got home to my house, our good friend Zach had texted me and said, no fans at the Rebel. So, it's definitely, it was just an odd time. But you're right. Now here we are, and we know the Derby is going to be the first Saturday in May again, and little by little, we're kind of getting back to normal. Still got a little ways to go. So, yeah, I mean, it's just great. I like what you said there. It's great to know that we've got Derby fever, and after this weekend's over, we're not going to sit there and go, when are they going to run that race? We know it's going to be the first Saturday in May, so that's fantastic.
Right. It was hard to get excited about any sort of performance last year at this time because you just didn't. You're like, well, when are they even going to run, Mm-hmm. And so, the fact that we are back to that, it just feels like forever, really. And it is it's a different world that we live in, post COVID. And so it definitely doesn't feel like it used to, but at the same time, it's nice to kind of get that back to the way it used to be a little bit with the Derby preps. Speaking of Derby preps, just real quick, we got a lot to talk about, obviously, with the Rebel. Sum up last weekend for us. Obviously two kind of crazy results in the Gotham and the Tampa Bay Derby, but of course life is good. Showed his stuff big time in San Felipe. Obviously is a legit Derby contender. But kind of sum up what you thought of those races.
Yeah, I thought a gutty performance by Helium to win. I don't know how much that's going to play moving forward, but yeah, I do think you have to give that horse credit for winning off a layoff, first time on the dirt, and having to fend off a little run there by Hidden Stash. So good job by Helium. Crazy long shot. Never could have got to it in the Gotham. Wayburn makes a huge jump up and just runs a fantastic race. that race came back pretty fast, probably faster than we thought it would when we were analyzing that one on the live show. And then, of course, Life is Good, definitely the star of last weekend. And, for me, I think it's just a matter of what will the horse do if it faces pace pressure. I think that's going to be the big question mark. And you look at all between a good horse and a really good to great horse, the difference is, like an American Pharoah showed, he can sit off the pace if it's too hot. He doesn't have to be on the lead. A Justify showed in his allowance win that he could sit off the pace, but he also showed that it doesn't really matter who's running with me. I'm going to stay. We don't really know on Life is Good yet. So that's the last challenge that he's going to have to get through. He's going to have to show that he can handle pace pressure, because it'll happen. At some point, there will be a horse challenge him. So, but yeah, to me, Life is Good, head and shoulders, talent-wise, above anything we've seen so far.
Yeah, what did he do? He got did he 107, 109, something like that, Byron? What was it?
It was a 108.
Okay, either one, right in the middle.
Yeah.
But no, it was legit. And I think in terms of the Gotham, like how that race came back, it was a lot faster than we expected. Highly Motivated didn't get necessarily the greatest of trips off the layoff. I think he deserves, like, I'm not by no means tossing him out. Am I tossing him out as a like high, the essential quality? You know what I mean? Like, No, he's not that. But I do think he's probably fits in with a lot of these other horses, assuming he runs back, improves off of that. And everyone in the connection seemed maybe not necessarily as disappointed as I was for my fantasy league purposes. But no, I definitely think, moving forward, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, it seems like the Bluegrass for him, which obviously is going to have essential quality, we think. Prevalence, who ran today, we can talk about him a little bit. He may be, like, it seems doubtful he would go to the Bluegrass because obviously Godolphin being essential quality owns both. So what do you think of Prevalence? Because let me preface this by, like, I could say, and thank you to everybody that's tuning in live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you are listening to this after the fact, go, make sure you tune in these moving forward. But I want to say that because Twitter blew up. Twitter thought this was like, this is the next horse that can take down Life is Good or Essential. Like, he's there. Like, he's already there. So what do you, like, let people back, like, tap the brakes a little bit for people.
I don't see where that comes into play. Like, I don't know how you watch that race and think that he's ready to win the Derby. But, I kind of thought it was a good stepping stone. It was a good race to set him up for the next one. I don't necessarily think, he's a slam dunk in whichever one he enters, but he certainly is a contender. And then I think that race will take what we see from him and go forward. But, would I want him right now for a Kentucky Derby future wager? I wouldn't want any future wager, but no, I wouldn't want him either. I think it was solid. I'm never going to sit here and fault the horse that wins. I don't care at what level. Winning races, that's not an easy task, and he did it, and it was never in doubt. So it's good, but it wasn't like a monster performance.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it was you could definitely tell, considering they're kind of up against it with time-wise, even though he won easily, like they have definitely asked a lot out of him because he needed to get a lot out of this race because you're going from, first start, a little bit of a gap, a very weak allowance race, and then to a grade 1, grade 2, depending on where you go, last minute Derby prep. So you've got to get a lot out of them in this race. And so they did. Yep. And it wasn't like it wasn't like a Life is Good performance in terms of, considering the competition he was facing. So while I think he fits in, I definitely am not ready to say, like, he's definitely not in the ballpark as his stablemate, essential quality, or I guess ownership stablemate, or definitely not Life is Good in my book.
To me, it's very simple. If you think he's going to move forward a lot off this race, and he's still
he should,
right? I think he will. Let's pretend the Florida Derby was in 4 weeks and he entered against, Greatest Honor. I would think he could compete with him for sure. But if you're just going to base it on today's performance and his maiden performance, I don't think he's quite up to 4 or 5 of our top ones right now. But again, he should move forward. He should get better going 2 turns. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is a horse that has upside. There's no doubt. It's just we gotta see that first. And thankfully, we're going to get it to see him in a prep as long as he stays healthy, and then we can kind of make that final determination for the Kentucky Derby. But look, if he goes to the Wood, if he goes to the Arkansas Derby, I think he's going to be a player. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I mean, and Michael Myers says on YouTube, Santa Anita, Arkansas, or winning the Wood gets him in the Derby. Well, even getting second in the Wood gets him into the Derby. So to me, all this horse needs to do is get second his next race. And honestly, I think he could get second in the Wood quite easily.
If he gets second in the Wood, though, do you want him in the Kentucky Derby? Like, if he goes to the Wood, he needs to win it. Now, we don't know what's in Arkansas. We really don't know what's in Arkansas until this weekend. So, at face value, I think, getting second in the Arkansas Derby, assuming these Rebel horses are also going to run the Arkansas Derby, I think that's going to be tough. I think second would be a good finish in the Arkansas Derby as of right now. But the Wood, he would need to win it. But yeah, second in either one of those races gets him in the Kentucky Derby. 40 points will be enough to get him in.
And how about this? You got to think of this too. Godolphin's never won a Derby, and it's always a talk every year. Especially in recent years. I mean, you can't. This is easily by far their best chance to win one this year. With Essential Quality being a top 1 or 2 contender. Now this one, Proxy, all these horses in their kind of respected areas. I mean, you almost want to say even if he runs a race that's good enough, they say, hey, the more, if we have 3 of 20 horses, that's 3, that's a better chance of us winning the Kentucky Derby. So if you got to think if the horse is qualified to get in, they're going to run.
Oh, if he's mine, if he gets second in any race they run him in next, he's in. I run him. No doubt. There's no reason not to run a 3-year-old in the Derby if they qualified. So yeah, get him first or second and get him to the Derby.
I mean, you can't. I don't think I'll ever not think about Country House in terms of barely getting in, because you look back at the Arkansas Derby, which was won by Omaha Beach, and Country House did what he could to get up there. Like, what he finished 3rd in the race, I want to say, and got enough points to get in the Kentucky Derby, which he needed, and quote unquote won the Kentucky Derby. I mean, granted, it was by a DQ, but he still finished second regardless, and that was a huge performance, one that you really didn't necessarily see coming. Point is, all you got to do is get in the gate, and you got a shot at least to run well in the Kentucky Derby. So, yeah, I'm with you. If the horse can get second and get the points, I would be hard pressed to say if he's healthy, they'll want to run him. All right, best thing you saw today, because we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of the best things I saw already, so I'll make this one pretty quick. This actually happened on Tuesday, but I got the first COVID shot. I was very pumped to get it. I was able to get on a waiting list and be able to get on there and to get it done. So that was my excitement for the weekend. Gave me a little bit of a sore arm, gave me a little bit of a headache for a day, but other than that, it's been fine. So that's definitely the best thing I've seen in maybe a year is getting vaccinated for this damn thing. So
well, how about think about that for a second. So a year ago, we were not even knowing what COVID really was, and obviously the impact it would make. Only 1 year later, and you've got your vaccine, at least the first stage of it. So it's pretty amazing, all things considered, that we're able to kind of get this. This is already out there and people are able to get it. So
yeah, it's pretty surreal. It's pretty surreal. I can remember the day Oklahoma City played the Jazz, and the guy got COVID and they canceled the game right as they were tipping it off. And
Rudy Gobert. And
yes,
and I haven't seen it yet, but they did a special on him. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
And I watched the intro to it, and I was like, it gave me chills, because because he was the figure for all of sports. That kicked things off, if you remember. And even after the game, he was touching the mics, remember? And he did, because obviously no one knew you know what I mean? But it was like he was kind of like, oh, touch, like as jokingly, like he wasn't meaning, but he became the face for all the sports shutting down. And they kind of talk about him in general, but also that kind of impact made it. Yeah, Michael Myers says it was really good. So yeah, I need to watch that. So
Yeah, that's wild. I was with my nephew because we're big Thunder fans. We had a family get together. Remember when you could do that? But anyway, I was with my nephew and we were like, "This is the dumbest thing ever." Because we just didn't take it serious. We just wanted to watch basketball. It's like, I can't believe this ruining our sports. You know, a little did we know how serious this thing was. But yeah, that was wild.
All right, I've got a good one for you. Okay, this is easily the best. This was talk about, someone said Virginia buzzer beater, which I guess is, that just happened, but buzzer beater here on best thing I saw today. Look what arrived in the mail just now. Now look, that's our favorite, but look, our friends at 10 Strike Racing sent us some of our favorite Woodford Reserve, which we love. We should be sponsored by Woodford Reserve because we drink enough of it.
Yeah.
And 10 Strike engraved in the back. So,
that's awesome.
Shout out to 10 Strike Racing. Clay, thank you so much. Marshall Graham, thank you for sending that to us. And the first thing that came to my mind is, I don't care the cost. I don't even know what it is or what it takes to do that, but we need those for us. So
yeah, that's really cool. Really cool.
I can't. The problem is it's super cool. Like, do you just keep the bottle? Because I really want to drink it, right? I mean,
yeah. You're probably not supposed to, but
okay, I'll leave it on my shelf. I'll buy others.
You could fill it with brown water after you drink it.
Problem is, it looks so good, So then even the brown water. Yeah. See, Joshua says drink it. Yeah. Michael Myers, that is bleeping beautiful. I agree.
I agree.
What he had mentioned, he asked for my address a while back, and I kind of forgotten about it. So I got this package today. I was like, what the hell is that? Oh yeah. So
that's cool.
We got to get Racing Dudes of those because that is sick. All right, let's get to it. Today's show, we're going to preview the $1 million Rebel Stakes at Oaklawn Park and $300,000 Beholder Miles Stakes at Santa Anita Park. Then we're getting some rapid fire selections for some of the remaining stakes action this weekend at Oaklawn Park. Let's go.
Man, that's really cool.
Right? I know. I mean, we have to get some for ourselves, though, because that is sick.
That is like, I remember, the thing is, I can remember talking to him about this like a long time ago.
Oh yeah. He had asked for my address months ago. Look at this. Okay, man, people are blowing us up. Thank you so much. I got to sip on it, make it last. Let's see. Gotta wait till the weekend for shots. If you don't drink it, then the terrorists win. I agree. I could, if it makes it'd make me feel better. Like, I mean, of course, I always have a bottle or two of that in my cabinet. So, I mean, I could always just drink what I have and just keep this as a keepsake. But we got to get our own because I need one. I can't have 10 Strike one. Knowing that's possible now, I didn't know that was really a possible thing you could do or how you do that. But we got to get that done.
Do you have a Derby one at the house?
No, I never got a Derby one.
Oh, hold on. I'll show you one.
Yeah, I think you got one, didn't you?
Yeah. They make these every year.
Oh, yeah.
Those are really cool as well.
Now that is sweet.
Yep. So anyway.
You didn't drink it, so good job on that.
No, I do have another bottle that's like half gone. And I did drink. Okay, this is funny. So one year at Saratoga, they had these at the liquor store, and we bought it. And I didn't think anything of it, a collectible or whatever. And we drank it and then went and got another one. We had two of these between four of us.
Okay, so that might be the answer. It's like, Clay, you need to send me two next time.
Yeah, I think that was. I think that was the Judy to Booty podcast, maybe, actually, when we drank all that.
One of my biggest regrets in life is deleting the Judy the Booty video off my phone.
You don't have it anymore?
I looked. I don't. No.
Oh.
I was a different man then. I'm not. I'm Manscaped now, so it's a wholly different thing. So.
Oh, she would enjoy it though. That's what.
All right, let's get to this show. We're going to talk some Rebel and some Beholder in depth, and we're going to do some rapid fire. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go to Oaklawn Park, race 11 on the program. Rebel Stakes, grade 2. With $1 million for 3-year-olds, you'll be hard-pressed to find a $1 million race in March for 3-year-olds. It's at Oaklawn Park. Mile 16, field of 8 lines up for this one. 50, 20, 10, 5 for your top 4 finishers. A Kentucky Derby prep race. You win here, you're in the Kentucky Derby. And, of course, this guy, Bob Baffert, heard of him, owns this race in the past, looking for 8 Rebel wins. That's right, 8. He's looking for 8, and he's got 2 of the 8 horses in here, led by the 7-horse Concert Tour at 2-1. Shockingly, Willie made a bad morning line, it looks like. 9-5 on Cattle River. No offense, but come on. 9-5 on that horse, and Bob Baffert brings in one of his best horses, and he's 2-1. Keep Me in Mind makes his 3-year-old debut. He's at 4-1. Get her number, 8-1 for Peter Miller. Hosier, 12-1. 12-1 on Big Lake. Twilight Blue is 15-1. And Superstock, another surprise kind of entry at 6-1. You know, this was kind of, we knew Concert Tour was coming here. We knew Keep Me in Mind was coming here. Cattle River, obviously, we knew, but we've just kind of surprised a few of these other ones that entered here.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag once you get past a couple of them. You know, some of those other ones, it almost feels like it's filler a little bit, but Concert Tour, Cattle River, Get Her Number, Keep Me in Mind, maybe even Big Lake. We'll talk about those, I'm sure. Yeah, bad morning line. I think Concert Tour goes off the favorite. You know, this horse is a graded stakes winner. It's one of Baffert's best. I think it's probably Baffert's second best is what I'm going to guess. Huge workout coming into this. Just really looked good last weekend. You know, Joel Rosario aboard once again, all the signs. But Cattle River's going to be bet as well off that Smarty Jones win. Got the local win over the track and the local trainer in Brad Cox. So, I mean, I could see where you make them close, but I think you probably flip the odds. I would make Concert Tour 9-5, Cattle River 2-1, or even 8-5 and 5-2.
Yeah, and let me be clear, like, it's not, there's zero disrespect for Cattle River there. It's just like, you got, I mean, listen to this stat. Bob Baffert, which you don't need a stat for Bob Baffert, but he's been represented by 13 horses in the Rebel. At least one starter in every year since 2010. He's won the race 7 times, finished second 3 times, and third once, bankrolling over $3 million. So let's do the math there. 13 horses. He's run 7 times. Second 3 times. So there's 10. 11. So 11 of his 13 horses have hit the board, and he's won the race 7 times. He's going to be the favorite when they go out of the gate. So to me, it's just like, what are you doing with trying to have Cattle River? But regardless of that, we know Concert Tour. Question is, can he beat? Because I mean, if someone's going to upset him, it seems like it's likely to be the Brad Cox, who obviously is a very, very good trainer in himself. Going to be Cattle River.
Here's the deal. I went into this thinking I was going to pick Cattle River, but when you look at this setup on paper, it really doesn't look great for Cattle River. You know, he's drawn obviously inside of all the speed. He's on the rail. There's a lot of freaking speed in this race. I was shocked, you know, and then Baffert brings in Hosier, who I think is going to go out there and try to run with Cattle River as well. Now, you may look at that and say, well, Concert Tour has speed too, but he's drawn to the outside, which to me gives him options. If Rosario breaks out of there and it's like nobody's really gunning it, sure, take him to the lead. But I think it's more likely that he kind of sits off those speed horses, sits just behind them in like 3rd or 4th. And I think that's the perfect stalking trip. So Concert Tour for me is who I'm going to pick on top. I do think it's close between him and Cattle River, but I just don't like the setup for Cattle River here. So Concert Tour on top for me. When I talked about pace, I don't really like Keep Me in Mind, but I do think if he's going to win one, boy, it kind of seems like it's going to set up decent for him, right? If I'm saying there's a lot of pace and this is the one that's the best closer, well, he has a shot. So if this thing falls apart, Keep Me in Mind, I actually think has a shot to win, and that's a horse I've kind of thought I would be against in this spot.
Win is a stretch. I think he's got every right to. I mean, he's a perennial like hit the board horse. You know, he runs his race every time. I feel like, and So yeah, and the pace sets up. So I guess if thing falls apart and Concertura isn't what we thought, and Cattle River sucks or he falls apart, then yeah, keep me in mind. Seems like a horse that could pick up the pieces. But to me, you lock him in your second spot, third spot. Like I would love to play like a 7-6-1 straight try or something. Like that to me is got a good chance of hitting, because I love Concertura. The moment he ran his race, and the joke is obviously that I picked a filly in the 5th round of the fantasy league of Gary Mary West's horse, and this horse is also Concertura being owned by the same owners, obviously. And I said I picked the wrong Gary and Mary West. Or of course I didn't have a chance at Concertura, but the point is I thought this horse was the goods after that debut, and then I get that the Freedom Fighter doesn't quite, after his lackluster effort last week, doesn't necessarily, ring real proudly for Concertura here. But I mean, he's stretching out from 7 furlongs to a mile 16th. Bob Baffert always, I mean, this might be, this is one of the few exceptions in all those years that he doesn't make, Life is Good is his best horse, but he always brings a top horse. He's for the Rebel, he's bringing a horse to win. Okay. Like he's not bringing just some idiot horse. Hosier might be that idiot horse, but he's bringing he actually said, by the way, if you're thinking about playing the other Baffert, he said, I was hoping that we could get him in the allowance race, and it didn't happen. Yeah. He literally said, I was hoping to do that. Maybe he can run a Spielberg type of race and get underneath. So he doesn't think his horse can win. He does think Concertura can win. It's hard to beat Bob Baffert in the Rebel. He's the pick. He's my pick. I do think Cattle River is going to tell us a lot. Just because it's always been, it's like, who is the best Cox horse? Between Mandolin and this horse, and of course Central Quality, who is it going to be? And you kind of are on the fence a little bit with Cattle River. If Cattle River can go and win this race and it kind of stomp Concertura, you're like, oh shit, maybe he's better. Maybe he is the best Cox horse, So I feel like he's going to tell us a lot about kind of the overall picture a little bit too.
I'll say this about Caddo River. If he does win here, I think he is the best Cox horse. That'll probably make people mad, but I do think this would be a hell of a win for Caddo River based on the scenario you're seeing, right now. It's easy if it doesn't play out like that and he wins to come back and say, well, this or that happened. But when you look on paper and you say immediately, Cattle River's up against it here, and then he wins, that would be really impressive to me. So I do think he could be the best Cox horse if he wins this race. But yeah, like you said, is right. I mean, listen, I don't like picking Baffert, but at the same time, it just seems like this is the best horse in the field. A horse I am interested in a little bit. There you go. Perfect timing. Thoughts on Get Her Number and Big Lake. Those are the two horses I wanted that are my underneath plays that could kind of make this thing pay. I'll start with Get Her Number. I think you just have to be honest and say, I don't know what to expect from him. And how could you know? It seems to me like this is a pretty big challenge to come off of a 2-year-old race in September, which was a win, and that's great. And now we're all the way in March. You're going to ship halfway across the country and run in the Rebel and run against a pretty good field. This is a huge challenge. If that horse wins, automatically going to be in like the top 5 or 6, I think, in the Derby ranks, because it'd be a really impressive win. So I don't know, but Big Lake is one I do kind of think I know how that horse is going to run. Has won 2 races in a row, won a really nice allowance race last time out at Fairgrounds on Risen Star Day. I think Big Lake at 12-1 is really interesting. I like Big Lake much more than the 6-1 super stock for Asmussen. I don't like that horse at all. But Big Lake at 12-1, yeah, I'll take that all day.
Yeah, the numbers aren't very strong for either of the Asmussen horses, but it definitely feels like to me, if there is one that you like, I mean, obviously his dad won the race, right? American Pharoah, Big Lake. He seems like the one. And while he does, when you look at time for him, he's got a lot of front end speed, but he won those last 2 races, especially that, then we broke his maiden from coming off. Yep. The one thing, and I mentioned this a little bit, I want to say it was with the Great One, and I talked a little bit about last week. the Lasix move. He's back to without Lasix here. Big Lake is, and obviously he got Lasix in those 2 races where he looked like a little bit of a different horse. So to me, that was one that you have to kind of weigh that in. I think the Lasix, we talked about that. You have to talk about Lasix more. You look at the Concert Tour on the San Vicente, a stakes horse, stakes race. He didn't do it with Lasix, and he doesn't do it again here. So that shows you like, okay, he can do it. And that also should show you horses can also run well without it. But with Big Lake, he kind of showed 2 dull efforts to start his career and then 2 really good efforts. And with both of those were with Lasix. So you have to kind of keep that in mind a little bit whenever you're looking at these this year with the Lasix conversation. Get Her Number is one of those for me that is interesting because you just don't know what he is.
Yep.
You just don't. Like the horse won the American Pharoah at 8-1, beat Rombauer and Spielberg, who, come on. I mean, we know what those horses are. Didn't get a great number, didn't get a bad number. Castellano jumps on board. To me, if anything, he's just one that's just gonna. I mean, Peter Miller's dangerous, and obviously he ships out here to avoid the other Baffert out there, but he gets Concert Tour. I just think he's going to be up against it off that kind of layoff with these kind of horses. So I think he's more of a pace horse than anything. And someone mentioned this earlier. I've probably lost it in the comments here. Oh yeah, here's Joshua Hosier is the fullback for Concert Tour. So true, right? We see it. We saw it last week with Medina Spirit. I mean, not that it really mattered, but he clears the way for everybody. Kind of opens everything up, and Concert Tour drawing outside of Hosier is just going to be like Martins, like just can go out there and just beat the hell out of everyone, get him out of the way, and kind of set the race up perfect for Concert Tour. So when Baffert's got 2, make no mistake, he's got a purpose for that as well. So listen, I not only do I always ask it, I also say why I ask it, but I'll keep saying it. I ask it every time. How many horses out of this race do you like moving forward in terms of the Derby?
Oh man. I think 3. I'll say 3. I think Keep Me in Mind is that kind that's going to get there. And I do think Caddo River and Concert Tour will get there. So I'll say 3. History shows us that the right answer will probably end up being 2 because 1 probably won't live up to the hype or get injured. But I'll say 3.
Listen, I think like Keep Me in Mind's like 8-5 to get to the Derby, just because he's gonna run him again, and he's gonna. I mean, I get that. Like it could have been 8-5, I guess, if he didn't have the weather issues and just kind of the delay. I mean, if he would have ran him in the Southwest too, but he just feels like a horse that's gonna keep picking up points. He just keeps getting some points. So Keep Me in Mind, I like to get in. Concert Tour, obviously. In Cattle River. So yeah, I'm going to say 3. I think there's 3 and 2 of those are legit. Like, listen, I kind of like low key love Concert Tour in terms of big picture. Really? Like, I just feel like if this horse, because we don't know, he's ran at 7 furlongs. If this horse goes and like stretches out here and runs really impressive again, I mean, he got a 94 buyer in the San Vicente. Say he runs like a 99, 101, something like that. Like, he's still not life as good, but he's like super legit. And so I think he belongs. So I think Concert Tour is kind of the real deal in this race. So you and me both, we're on number 7, Concert Tour.
Yeah, I hope we put the reverse jinx on Concert Tour, but
that's the thing. You got it. You have to. I've gotten to the point that you have to pick him. It's about Bob Baffert, but at the same time, I hope I'm wrong every time.
Yep. I mean, the thing is, when you pick a Baffert, you win either way, right? Because you pick and he wins and you win, or you lose, or Baffert loses and you still win.
Yeah.
But it's more mentally and emotionally rather than your checkbook or your wallet, I guess I should say.
Exactly. I mean, Mark says pedigree edge moving forward, Concert Tour over life's good. I completely agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, look at he's a street sense horse. out of a Tappet mare. I mean, this horse is bred to go long for sure. Whereas we still don't know life. I mean, seems like Life is Good is going to be able to handle the distance, but bred, I mean, we still don't know for sure. So
we're going to learn everything we need to learn. Well, yeah, I'll say that. We're going to learn almost everything that we need to learn about Concert Tour on Saturday. It's
kind of funny too, because you look back at the year American Pharoah won, obviously the Triple Crown, but won the Rebel. There was a horse out west called Dortmund, and not a lot of people remember that horse. But at this time of that year, everyone wanted Dortmund. You know, Pharoah had was coming off the layoff, didn't know how healthy he was. We were friends with the Zayats. We were we knew the connections, and there's like Baffert wants AP, like that's the horse. And so we kept telling everybody AP, and then we saw it, right? And so kind of seems like maybe that's a similar thing this year, where obviously the horse might be out west this time. So he might have two really good ones, but the one out west is just like this high, is just 10 steps higher than Concert Tour. So
yeah,
we'll see.
A couple things. Dortmund was third in the Derby. He was right there. And Life is Good. That is some far-fetched. That is some far-fetched. That's a far-fetched opinion, I would say.
Yeah, calling Life is Good as a bunny is something I never thought I would hear. But
do you guys have 3 in leg 1 of your Gulfstream Park pick 4? No, I did not. I didn't even consider that horse.
There's been some talk about that race. Apparently, our Stephanie has been worried about that race. So
yeah, I saw a comment on Magic Mike too. The problem is we're not talking about that, so it's hard to get those in. But when we take little breaks, we can. No, didn't have it. Gulfstream was not good today, really, all the way around. So happens. That track is very fickle. One day it's great, and the next day sucks. Pissed me off to no end. Now, I mean, I hear you. Me too. Another fickle track, Oaklawn. Very fickle. Tomorrow will be great, but today sucked.
Fickle is a very, very good word for Oaklawn. All right, here's your favorite time of the show right here. Let's do the Manscaped read. How about that?
Go.
3, 2, 1. How about this? You're gonna like this. Support for Blinkers Off is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over the technology developments to provide you the best tools and grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted with over 2 million men worldwide. We have exclusive offer for our listeners today: 20% off plus free shipping with using the promo code DUDES at manscaped.com. Dude, I'm telling you, this stuff is legit. Have you used it yet?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Heather and I have been enjoying it very much. Well, Heather has. And then I have, since she has.
Listen, this is like not like I get it. Like you guys are like, let's get to racing. But listen, every single person listening to this show either has balls or they don't have balls and they have someone that does have balls. And so listen, everyone wins. So last week I had kind of sampled it, but I didn't like go full on, full on. Let's call it a trimming. Okay, it's legit. All right, I'm just saying that it's super, super legit. We have these certain things to say. That you can say like the light and the way it doesn't pull at your hair. It all works. Like the light came in handy. Totally worked. It comes with it's waterproof. I used it in the shower. Perfect. If I was you guys, I would go to manscaped.com and I would get the Perfect Package 3.0 kit. That's what we got. Mm-hmm. It's awesome because it comes with everything. I even used the lotion afterwards. It's got the newspapers that come with it that you can put down to trim with. It's super, super legit, man.
I love it. Yeah, it's great. I love the shower thing the best. How it's waterproof. That's nice because you don't want to do that outside of the shower. And when I got it, I thought, well, it's like like you're seeing on the screen there. I can't use that. I'm not going to sit in the bathroom and do it, but in the shower, perfect.
Yep, dude. Listen, and by the way, it came with boxer briefs too.
Yep.
I mean, super, super comfortable. And the t-shirt, they threw to us, and it's got a travel bag with it as well. So you can like literally, I love it because it's like you can just take it with you and do some trimming when you go. And it's like, it's removed the whole shtick of like, you don't talk about shaving your balls, right, to your friends, but it's like, hey, are you manscaped? Yeah, I'm manscaped. That's no problem. Let's move on. Let's pick a winner in this race 6, right? Like it's like whatever. We're at a different age these days, guys. We're all talking about horse racing, but you gotta be trimmed up, man. Come on, COVID is about over. We got to get back out there. You got to have your ball. You can't leave the quarantine era looking like a bush, right? You gotta trim it up. Manscaped.com, 20% off plus free shipping with promo code DUDES. That's right. Your balls will thank you. Get 20% off. Free shipping, promo code DUDES at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use promo code DUDES. Unlock the confidence. You'll always use the right tools for the job at manscaped.com. Your balls, Halterman. Yeah. They will thank you. All right. Look at that. Hit the pick 4 and shade the 3-man weave. That's right. I actually, this morning, because I wanted prevalence to win, I shaved in the words prevalence. So it took a lot of work. But, it's big enough. So, okay. Anyways. Show of hands. How many love the... No? Okay. Let's get back to it. All right. Excuse me, sir. Your balls are showing. Bumblebee tuna. Mark is always bringing it. I love it.
Oh, man. We got to get up to Fairmont.
When nature calls. That's one of my favorite low-key. Like, that's like, obviously the first interest, but when nature calls, when he's, they think that the rhino's having birth. It's like one of the all-time great scenes. I love it. All right.
It's a great scene.
Let's get to the next race that people are tuned in for. We didn't lose anybody. Congratulations. Apparently. See, people shave their balls. Listen, you can joke all about it, but I'm telling you guys, it fucking works. And so, hey, you'll be the one laughing after you do it, right? So
that's right. That's exactly right.
Or smiling, as Heather would say. Okay.
Exactly.
It's not just for the guys, right?
That's right. It's more for the girls.
Right. It doesn't look like. I mean, you got to think about let's be real. Like, you can't be looking like you came out of quarantine, right? You got to have we have to have the edge when it comes to the Tinder game. You can't be looking. Anyways.
Yeah, you know this better than most. So I just defer to you.
You got to look for every angle you can get, right? And if you get to that point of the game, and you look like you just came, you literally look like you. I mean, the top front looks like I came out of quarantine, but I can't be having the bottom half looking like I just came out of quarantine. You know what I mean? You got to be looking good. So, anyways, let's get the Swiss skydiver. What do you say?
Let's do that.
Oh shit, I love it. That honestly, all joking aside to everyone, like when we took this deal, we were like, worst case scenarios, it's just fun. We could talk about shaving our balls on our show, and honestly, it kind of fits in with what we do anyways. So it works perfect. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's head to Santa Anita, race 8, the Beholder Mile Stakes on Saturday. It's a grade 1 with $300K for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds, and up, going 1 mile. Field of 8 lines up for this one. And we talked about the Triple Crown Trail. Let's talk about the Preakness winner last year. Preakness, number 1, Swiss Skydiver. Here she is, back at Santa Anita, where she also won last year, winning the Santa Anita Oaks on her journey to winning everywhere last year, right? Every track, it seemed like. 8-5 morning line favorite, 5-2 on Harvest Moon. You got 4-1, and as time goes by, we're going to talk a little bit in rapid fire about the horse that beat her in the Kentucky Oaks. She Dares the Devil, but some like the the overall picture here is, do you bet this horse coming back off of, into her 4-year-old debut?
Boy, this is one that, man, this one really bothered me for a long time. I'm gonna play against Swiss Skydiver here. I love that she's back. I love that they brought her back for another year. I think she's one of the coolest horses in training. I'm gonna go against her here. I just think there's enough other options to kind of go the other way with. And Magic really pointed out something on the live stream last week. The horses that ship to Santa Anita and run on the dirt right now, they just don't run very well. Maxfield got beat last week. Nashville got beat, back in December. It's definitely a different track. It's kind of a tiring track. I'm going to go against Swiss Skydiver as far as a top pick. I definitely think this is a horse you have to use. I mean, don't leave her out, whatever you do. But I'm going to go with the 6th horse as time goes by in this spot. I just think this is a horse going in the right direction for Bob Baffert. Won 2 races in a row. Last time out at a mile, wins by 9 lengths under wraps. Just looked really impressive. Mike Smith was on the 2. He now jumps on the 6 as Rosario took them out on concert tour. That's why he's not here. And I just think as time goes by, could pull the upset here. You also have to think about Swiss Skydiver. The last time we saw her, didn't run very well. She definitely needed a break. Now she's got it. First time back, we'll see. I'm not going to be shocked at all if she wins. Probably going to be like 3-5. I just think if you're going to try to beat her, the first out as a 4-year-old, it might be the best spot to try. And what's the harm in it, really? What am I going to do? Pick Swiss Skydiver to win and bet her at 3-5? I mean, I just don't want it right now. Not first out. I'll just take a small shot against with the 6 as time goes by.
Yeah, another story here with the Lasix, right? Swiss Skydiver obviously didn't have the Lasix issue last year, but with the trip, the stakes, and obviously that becoming bigger this year, running without Lasix for the first time. And so is the horse that you picked as time goes by, running for the first time without Lasix. So another one of those situations we'll have to see. In this case, you have a lot of horses that haven't ran without it, so you just don't really know. But I'm with you. Listen, part of the reason why it was so hard to play her, or why the Preakness was so hard to kind of get over, because it's like you don't ever play McPeak at a short price. I don't play McPeak at a short price, but winning the Preakness like 11, 12 to 1s, like I could have got on board with that. I just never saw it in a million years. Listen, off the layoff, 8-5, gonna be the favorite. McPeak, come on. Like, I agree. Like, someone says no brainer here, dead bet against. I agree. Like, it's a bet against. I love this horse, and I think it'd be great to see her come back as a 4-year-old, be very good and compete with Monomoy Girl, and have that Distaff division be really salty again this year. I would love that. She had such a big campaign as a 3-year-old, and obviously the shift from 3 to 4, McPeak. I mean, you just don't know how they're going to come back, and if there's ever a time to try to beat her, it's here. I'm with you. I mean, as time goes by, if you listen, you have that, that win in January, like you say, on the track, which is a huge thing, like you said, to get that win. Bob Baffert, Mike Smith jumps over here with Rosario staying or going to Oaklawn for Bob Baffert as well. So yeah, you would have thought kind of the 2 makes some sense, and then it's like, well, Mike, he's rode that horse 4 straight times. Mm-hmm. And here he jumps over to the 6. So I think as time goes by is a legit threat to kind of basically sit the trip, whether he wants or she wants to go, or if she wants to sit off of the speed a little bit. Mike will be able to make that decision, but I think that the way she's drawing outside is going to make this horse very, very dangerous when they hit the top of the lane.
Well, here's a comment here that I think makes some sense that we need to discuss. Rachel Alexander was one who never returned the same at 4 after an astounding 3-year-old year or campaign. That's very true. And I'm not saying Swiss Skydiver is going to be like that. But when you look at the campaign for her and the campaign for Rachel,
yeah,
they're pretty damn similar. This horse danced a lot of dances. So I don't think it's a bad thing to kind of say, okay, let's take a step back. Let's see this race. This is another thing I'm watching for fun as a fan. Hey, it might be one of those races for you, and that's fine. And I don't think that's a bad way to look at this either. We just kind of have to look at it from a betting standpoint, and it just seems to make sense to try to play against. Another thing for multi-races, in the 7th race, you have Jolie Olympica, who is a damn good horse. You can go short there and then spread in this race and try to beat that favorite. So you've got some options other than just I have to single Swiss Skydiver here, like many will. It makes a lot of sense to try to beat her in this spot. As far as my fanhood, I would love to see Swiss Skydiver roll here because I think, and as people mentioned it in the chat, Monomoy Girl, Swiss Skydiver, a rematch. Maybe Swiss Skydiver has kind of taken a step forward other than backwards, is maybe we're, speculating what she will do as a 4-year-old. That's what you want in the sport. You want superstar matchups, and that would be a superstar matchup. Every time those two run, what a matchup that would be. What a hype, what a hype train that would be. So, yeah, let's hope that those two do meet up and they're in top form and they'll battle it out.
Yeah, I think you do need to go as deep as you can here because obviously you got to play Swiss Skydiver, Golden Principle. You never know. Harvest. I like Harvest Moon a lot. Obviously Pratt, Simon Callahan. This horse has been really good. It seems like this has kind of been one of the stops for this horse. Obviously making her 4-year-old debut as well. Finished 4th to Monomoy Girl, only beaten 2.5 in the Breeders' Cup. Won the Zenyatta at Santa Anita last fall. So Harvest Moon has definitely got every right to win this race. Sainius, whatever that horse is, the 4 horse. I think that horse definitely could pull off an upset as well. So, listen, it's one of those that if you want to try to beat her, you would sure hate to try to beat Swiss Skydiver and not beat Swiss Skydiver, so to speak, in whatever you're playing, because if you get her beat, then it's gonna help pay on your pick 4, pick 5, whatever you're playing. So if you beat her, it's great, but make sure you get the horse home. So I think the deeper you can go here to try to beat her. We listened to the Magic Mike show before we got on here, and Samich, oddly enough, right, was singled to Swiss Skydiver here, and that's so unlike him in terms of trying to beat her. So, I guess that's the way you have to look at this. Do you try to beat her, or do you single her? That's the thing.
I was shocked by that. I really was. This one has all the makings of a horse that he would play against. So that's very interesting. I thought this horse is not a miler. Yeah, you can say that, right? You could definitely say that this horse is not a miler. The horse has won at 7 furlongs, and then her only mile race was 2nd. That was her 2nd start. After that, they've all been a mile and 16th or more. So I do think that's kind of a factor as well. We'll see what happens. I'm very much looking forward to watching this race. I think this is going to be a very entertaining spot. And you're right. If you're going to go against her, you might as well. I'm not saying play them all, but you might as well go 3-4 deep here if you're going to play against her.
Yeah, I agree. So listen, I think you and I both agree. Like we're not against Swiss Skydiver, so to speak. Like hopefully, we next time out, especially depending on how she runs, you got to think that there's bigger, better things. The 6 just seems like a horse that's kind of primed up and ready to go in this spot, and could definitely pull off the upset. So you and I are both trying to pull off an upset here at 4-1, number 6 for Bob Baffert as time goes by. Yeah, the problem is if you go 4 deep and she wins at 3-5. Yeah, that's the problem you run into anytime you try to beat a heavy favorite. The thing is, if there's ever an opportunity to beat her, this is it.
you're not. I mean, you're not any worse off if you single her and she wins at 3-5.
I mean, here's the thing: you want to look at how she's done off layoffs. You can't.
Yeah, she's never had
one. I mean, that's the thing. There's no layoff for her ever. So she's literally ran 12 straight races.
Yeah.
So you just don't know how she's going to come out of it, and that to me is enough for me to try to beat her. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. When you factor in how horses have shipped to Santa Anita have been running over the dirt, I just think that's the last straw to try. And like I said, if she beats you, well, it's not going to pay anything anyway, whether it's a single race bet or a multi-race bet. So
someone says, pay respect to Beholder, the namesake of this race, please. Well, yeah, I mean, how about that? Beholder, who obviously would probably win this, would stomp these horses, right?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a race in a little bit, the Hot Springs with Whitmore, or you got to think it's going to be called the Whitmore at one point. But Beholder, man, she was a fun horse to root for, no doubt.
Yep, she was great. Her Pacific Classic win was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen by a racehorse. That absolutely blew my mind. I think can't remember if we were together or not. I was at Bootleggers, Jared, and I think you were with me, and we were watching on our phone.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't you, I don't know who it was. I apologize. I was cheating on you maybe, but it was like, holy cow. When she made that move, I'm like, that's I've never seen anything like that. That was name the all-time greats. They wouldn't have beat her that day. That was unbelievable. Like Zenyatta would never have beaten her that day, And I consider Zenyatta, the greatest of all time that I've seen as a female. She wouldn't have beat Beholder that day. No way.
You want to use a definition. If you want to show someone that's new to the game, like what push button means.
Yep.
That was Beholder in that race.
I like up the backstretch. I was like, oh boy, I don't know if she's gonna run. Like she didn't look just great. And then, I mean, just a rocket. That was incredible.
Let's see. I'm not totally sure how legal this is for us, but you know what? We'll just throw it up on here real quick.
Yeah,
you'll be all right. No one's watching. So here we go. I'll bring it up. We'll just watch like a little quick. There you go. You guys see that? There you go.
Yep. Okay, so she's the 9 horse.
It's just amazing how and she goes from seeming and again, you got to remember she's running in the Pacific Classic against boys.
Yeah, she's usually on the lead in these races. Now look at her. Look at that.
And I mean, holy shit.
That's incredible. She went from 3 behind to 6 ahead, and you could, if you blink, you miss it.
And it's obviously it's over after this. So
yeah. I mean, wow.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, and she obviously rattles up that. I mean, and the thing is, like that, the only sad part about that was 2015, and obviously, she scratched of the Breeders' Cup Classic against American Pharoah. It would have been amazing to see those two kind of battle it out. But yeah, that. Oh, so we are probably very close to each other.
Yeah, we may have been standing right next to you.
We were at the rail there, and we exactly the same thing. We had pictures, and we were right there, and we were at the press box. We're like, we got to get down and watch this one, and boy, it was worth it. You talk about an all-time great. That was a great race.
Yep, that was one of the best of all time. That's right. One where they truly it doesn't happen often, especially in a big race. You truly did not know who won until they posted it.
Yeah. Especially being at the track, you had no idea.
You had no idea. That's a good point. Yeah.
Usually you're like, even at the track, you're like, oh, I think the 6 got it or whatever. Like you're like, I don't have any idea. I can't tell. They both, and honestly, part of you were like, they both deserve to win. Like they ran so well that they deserved it.
I remember because we were with Stillman and all 3 of us were just going nuts, and then we all kind of stopped and we're like, who just won? Like, I have no idea who just won that race. That was an all-timer. I'll never forget that. One of the best races ever to watch live, no doubt.
All right, we're gonna rapid fire the three kind of bigger-ish stakes races on the undercard of the Rebel at Oaklawn. All right, 3, 2, 1. Time for rapid fire, presented by the Inside Track to the 2021 Rebel Stakes. Get our all-inclusive 9-page wagering guide to the 2021 Rebel Stakes on March 13th. This Saturday at Oaklawn Park features in-depth analysis of all 5 stakes on the card, including the $1 million Rebel Stakes, plus get bonus race-by-race analysis, betting suggestions, and multi-race plays for Oaklawn Park's entire Saturday card. Subscribe to Racing Dudes Premium and receive absolutely free, or it can be purchased individually at racingdudes.com. You got to check this out. We redesigned the whole thing. It looks amazing. Go to racingdudes.com to learn more. All right. We're going to do we've been doing the rapid fire a little differently, but this weekend we just have kind of the main focus other than the big ones is the undercard at Oaklawn. So we're going to stick at Oaklawn Park. We're going to do 3. We're going to do the Azeri, the Essex, and the Hot Springs. Let's kick it off with race 5, the Azeri. That's a grade 2 at Oaklawn Park on Saturday, 350K. Fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, going 1/16 miles. Field of 5 lines up for this one. We talked about Swiss Skydiver. Horse that beat Swiss Skydiver in the Kentucky Oaks last year. Number 5, She Dares the Devil. 2-1 morning line favorite for Brad Cox. Listen, this one's interesting. You kind of, if you're playing against Swiss Skydiver, it's hard to kind of back this horse, but I can make a case for why you could. Came back off that Kentucky Oaks to lose the Spinster at Keeneland to Always Candy and Valence. Finished 3rd that day. Hasn't been seen since. What do you make of this race? We tried to beat Swiss Skydiver. Are we going to try to beat She Dares the Devil?
Well, there's a couple of big differences between the two. Okay, number one, it's just as simple as this. You trust Brad Cox a little bit more, right? So there's that. This horse didn't have that long, grueling campaign. You look at this horse, they kind of spaced the races a lot better. Only really ran in a couple of really tough ones at the end, but the rest of them were really just real logical spots for this horse. So yeah, I'm going to go number 5, She Dares the Devil on top. The biggest reason though, I don't think a whole lot of this field. I really don't. You look at the 1, the 2, and the 4, She Dares the Devil probably should just beat those horses no matter what. Like with a B effort, I think she kind of beats them. The worry is definitely the 3, but you look at Latruska, who I like, and I definitely think is the other horse to kind of take a look at here. She doesn't really do that great when she moves up in competition, right? She's kind of a grade 3 type as far as winning. She ran in the grade 2 Beldame, got beat. Ran the grade 1 Ballerina, got beat. Now, got beat to really good horses, but what if She Dares the Devil is a really good horse? I mean, if she runs back to that Kentucky Oaks race, or I would even argue if she runs kind of similar to the Spinster, probably going to win here. So for me, I'm going to go number 5, She Dares the Devil.
All right, here's our first. We were 2 for 2 on picks. We're gonna have a hard disagree here. And listen, I completely disagree with your last statement. If she runs a Spinster race, she ain't winning. Number 3, Latrusta is going to win. Listen, her last 2 efforts have been 98, 97 buyers, wire-to-wire fashion. And yeah, they were the grade 3 races. But like you say, she's only beating who she's facing. And in the grade 2, she loses. She runs a little bit different races. When you look at the mile and the eighth, this horse kind of brings it most of the time. She's had a few duds in there, but most of the time, 95 in the Chuvie, she wins that at Saratoga. I don't think She Dares, we'll see, I guess, right? But She Dares the Devil winning at Saratoga would surprise me. You look at this horse, other than the Oaks, I mean, this horse was 15-1 in the Kentucky Oaks. She's been mildly average, maybe slightly above average, but mildly average. She Dares the Devil. 91 buyer in the Spinster in her loss. 86 in the Indian Oaks. 83 previously to that. 78 in the Fantasy. Yeah, she improved, but then she backed off that a little bit. The 101 Kentucky Oaks race was obviously just wildly out of nowhere. And you can, yeah, she beat Swiss Skydiver. Yeah, she beat Gamine, who obviously didn't want to go that far. But I just think Latruska gate to wire. I just think she's obviously been freshened up for this one. We're winning in December in the Rampart, winning in January in the Houston Ladies Classic, and now here. She's won at Oaklawn Park. She's 3 for 3 at the distance. She gets Rosario, my boy Rosario. No one finishes like Rosario, who, by the way, rode this horse in the Chuvy at Saratoga back in August. And guess what? He won with her. He got this horse to win at 1 1/8 miles. Okay? Like, this horse should not probably win at 1 1/8 miles, but he did. He will get this horse to the wire. Gate to wire. I like number 3, Latruska, to pull off the mild upset.
I gotta ask. I like I said, I think Latruska has a big chance. I gotta ask, and I've seen a couple. You've said it, and somebody on the chat said, I don't remember who it was. Why do you think the 3 is going to get out like way ahead of the 5?
I don't necessarily think she's going to get out way ahead, but I do think she's faster than the 5 is up front, and I just think that's going to be. Plus, you got to think. Flo, look at the Kentucky Oaks where he won. What did he do? He set off just slightly, but he set off. I don't think this horse is going to go for the lead. I think the 3 is going to get the lead because they know Rosario is going to go to the lead, and they're not going to try to fight that.
She set a length off Gamine in the Kentucky Oaks.
Hey, we can make a bet. If you think this horse will be in the lead when they hit the backstretch, like, let's make a bet.
I guarantee you, I don't think she'll be on the lead because she's drawn to the outside. But to think that Latruska is going to have an easy trip here, I don't think is accurate. I think the 5 would have to break poorly or something like that. I think this horse is within a length or a half length of Latruska the whole way around.
And maybe she is, but I just don't think she's a very good horse.
Well, I mean, no, that's fair. But I don't I'm, and you didn't really say it, but I've seen a lot of people say Latruska easy, lone speed. I don't think that's the case, really.
And I mean the McPeak horse, the 1, shows some speed drawing the rail. I mean, there's plenty of speed in this race, right? I mean, so to me, the reason, to be honest, why I think someone asked, I don't know, I'm not gonna bring it up. I don't know where they're at, so I'm sorry who said it, but someone said, for Brad Cox, why enter 2 when 1 will do? Well. The 4 has a nice little pace set up in place here. So if you're Brad Cox, you get Castellano, the horse just won the Pippin. You say, hey, if she's not ready, if the race melts down, maybe the 4 can pick it up. Like, so I don't necessarily, that to me is a reason to also play against the 5 for listen, I am by no means am I going to like take off. I'm going to use the 5. I'm going to use the 4. I'm going to use the 3. I think you use as many as you can in this one because I just think I like the 3, 4, 5 in this one, but I just think the 3 will go gate to wire. The 3 has consistently shown to be just a little bit faster and off the layoff, a horse that I don't necessarily fully trust anyways. I just think the 5 won't quite get it done.
Well, and again, I have no problem for you or anybody else thinking the 5 may not be legit. That's fine. But it's just funny because I picked the 5 because I thought the pace would be perfect for the 5. Drawn outside of the other speed, but she has a ton of speed. Flo can just sit her wherever need be. I thought she would get the better trip than the 3. Now, if you think the 3's going to get the 5, then that's that's just a difference of opinion. But I think the 5 gets the best trip out of all of them.
Then you have Jared Bush here saying that the 1 is the winner here, no doubt.
If the 1, now here's the deal. Here's the difference between the 1 for McPeak and then Swiss Skydiver for McPeak. The 1 campaigned a lot lighter and was hot to end the year. So if that 1 takes a step up and progresses, I think she's there. She wasn't that far behind these top ones.
Yeah.
But I think you have to project progression.
Well, listen, and if the 1's gonna have to float up at 5. If the horse was like 6 to 1 or something, I like that a lot more than 5 to 2.
Yeah,
I agree. On the 1.
Don't you think she kind of maybe not 5, 6 to 1, but don't you think she'll be like 4 to 1?
Oh yeah, because all the money is going to go on the 5 and obviously the 3. Yeah, exactly. There's no way that those aren't the co-favorites. I mean, like 1, 2. So yeah, I mean, I think you might get a little bit. You'll get better than 5 to 2. So Jared, if you like the 1, I think you're gonna be able to get 4 to 1. something like that. But listen, it's supposed to be rapid fire. This is a good race, right? So we'll move on because listen, you're on the 5, I'm on the 3. It's definitely lacking. I guess it is lacking star power in a sense, but maybe She Dares the Devil is like a star. Maybe she's a star this year. So we'll see. It kind of has that. Like, I feel like we know what the 3 is. We know what Latruska is.
Yeah. Good, not great.
The 5 could be good, not great. Or, could be an Oaks winner that kind of backed off a little bit in the Spinster. That's why she lost. But here she's going to make a big campaign. Obviously, you have Brad Cox and Flo on your side. It's hard to not, right?
Well, one thing about that Spinster, she got beat by Valence, who was second in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. And she got beat by, Ollie's Candy, who's, hard knocker and ran in all those races. So it wasn't good. It wasn't good. But
she's got Brad Cox. She's won at Oaklawn, and she's won 3 times at 5 starts at this distance. So, it's hard to not like her. I'm going to try to beat her with the 3. Latruska, you've got her, the 5. She Dares the Devil. All right, let's go to race 7. Which is the Essex Handicap. Let's see. I'll pull it up here. There you go. The Essex Handicap, race 7, $500,000, 4-year-olds and up. 1 1/16 miles, field of 7 lines up for this one. This another kind of similar race where you've got a horse that's a strong favorite, but there's horses in here that you can use to try to beat him. 2-1 on the 5-horse Silver State for Asmussen, 3-1 on Tax. Tax showing up everywhere, man. He's just trying to win a race. Come on, let the guy win. Night Ops, 3-1, 4-1. Harper's First Ride for Diodoro. Those seem like the main contenders here. What do you think?
Yeah, I didn't want to play Tax on top. That's my first thing. So I definitely am against Tax. I will probably play defensively just because, that horse always likes to fuck with me. But listen, I really am a fan of Silver State. I thought this horse was going to be pretty good on the Derby Trail last year, and it may have just been too much too soon. But since got the time off and come back to the races, he's really, really looked good. So I went with Silver State again. I don't think this is too tough of a field. Silver State beat Hunk of Burning Love last time out, and that horse might be a little better, especially at Oaklawn, than the horses he's facing today. So I'm going to play Silver State back one more time here today.
Man, I had a hard time with this one, to be honest with you. I was between Silver State and the 2 Harper's First Ride.
Yeah,
I like both of them. Silver State's obvious, right? It's Asmussen, it's Winchell, Willis, won at Oak, won the 5th season. Santa Anita. It's like they're all there, right? The horse seems like a horse that was so as a 3-year-old is going to continue to get better, especially as a 4 and 5-year-old. Big time purchase. It's all there, right? I think he every bit should have a shot to win here. But man, Harper's First Ride is very interesting to me. Get Diodoro first time, who hits at 24%. Ran the Pegasus, who was, obviously a non-factor, was eased. But obviously something went awry in that race. But prior to that, this horse, the horse was a big shot, 25-1, but considering who the horse was, that's not necessarily a massive price. The horse had ran 2 straight buyers of triple-digit buyers, won both the races, his races going into the race. Gets with Diodoro, which, come on. It's got to be an improved effort. Ran with Lasix his entire career. Goes to the Pegasus, which is kind of when with the whole like non-Lasix thing was really getting going, and obviously whether that was a contributing factor or not, we'll see. But gets Lasix back, so I really expect the horse to run a lot better. I'm gonna pick the 2, but the price is gonna have to be better than 4-1. Like, if it's 4-1 versus 2-1, give me Silver State. Like that, this is not enough discrepancy. But if it's 6-5 and 4-1, or 6-5 and 6-1 or something, then Harper's First Ride, I think, has got every bit of a shot here too. I just think this horse, it's kind of similar to my pick in the last race with Latruska. You kind of know what the horse is, and getting Diodoro is only going to help.
Boy, Diodoro is the thing. That scares me. I almost picked the 2. I probably should have. I'll probably be kicking myself, but I just like Silver State too much. But yeah, I think that's a good pick.
4, 5, 7 for Mark, which is Tex, Silver State, and Night Ops. So who else do you like in this race that you didn't mention? Obviously, Green Light Go is one of those horses that's just super interesting, just because he was obviously at one time thought to be the real deal after winning the Saratoga Special. Is with second start with Hollendorfer here at Oaklawn, finished 4th earlier. I guess I should say about a month ago in February. I mean, can this horse make any difference at 6-1? Brad Cox, you got the 7-horse Night Ops, anything?
I mean, second off the layoff, got a little bit of early speed. If Tax doesn't really do his job and get out front, the 6 could find itself on a lonely lead. I don't hate it if you want to try to take a price on him. He needs to float up, though. He needs to be double digits.
Yeah, that's the thing. The price is going to dictate a lot of how I play this race.
Yeah.
A 2 is my pick if the horse is, for some reason, bet hard. It just depends. But I definitely think if you're moving forward, Silver State, to me, strikes me as a horse that could be a very big force as the horse develops as a 4-year-old. Because I feel like this is a horse that's just in the making of kind of finally getting his feet. You look at a horse like Gunrunner. That horse wasn't Gunrunner until he was Gunrunner. You know what I mean? Like he took him a while to get there, and not to compare him to Gunrunner yet, because Silver State has a lot to prove. But maybe he's just now getting to where, look at this horse. He was never that good, and then that allowance win in October, boom, and then another allowance win, and then the 5th season. He's just been a different horse.
Yep.
So if this horse can continue that, he might have a big future ahead of him. But you're on number 5, Silver State. I'm going to try to beat him with the 2-horse Harper's First Ride. Danny Gargan took over. When did Danny Gargan take? Yeah, it's been a while. It's been October 2018. He claimed from Ben Colbrook. Yeah. Let's go to what we all agree should be the Whitmore Stakes, right?
Surely it will one day, right?
I agree with Samich earlier. Like, it'd be cool if, while he was still active, if they called it, you know what I mean? That would have been really neat to call the Whitmore Stakes and he's in the race. But usually you wait till they retire to do that. So,
yeah.
All right. Can we get some Kentucky Oaks talk soon? Got to go. Girlfriend about to strangle me. What do you want to talk about? Hey, we're here for you. Before we get into this race, because we weren't going to talk about Oaks. There's not a lot to talk about. What do you want to talk about, Josh? If you look at the recent, is it Clariere? I think went off as the choice in the latest pool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's pull that up for him. So we
travel column. That's the 2. That's the only 2 I'm even considering at the moment.
I agree. That's where I'm at too with those.
I don't like those other ones.
I don't either, and it seems like it definitely seems like the Oaks was a something we thought that we would was stronger, and it seems like it's becoming extremely top heavy.
It's went backwards. Yep.
You look at here we go. So Clariere went off at 7-2, 6-1 on travel column down here. Malthought at 7-1. Will Secret, the Dallas Stewart horse that keeps winning, at 14-1. That's an interesting one for sure. But it definitely feels like to me, travel column for Brad Cox and Clariere for Aspie. So those, I'd be at this juncture, which we're again less than a month and a half. It's hard to find one, right?
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah. I'm just not a big fan of anybody yet there. You're right. They were supposed to be so good and they look so good. And then I haven't seen much. Every Oaks race is disappointing so far for me.
It kind of feels like, Clear Air and Travel Calm kind of keep battling out, right? Back and forth. The one wins, the next one wins. It kind of feels like those two are just a little bit, ahead of everyone else. So if you're looking at 7-2 versus what was Travel Calm, 6-1, give me 6-1 on Travel Calm all day. Because I don't think those two are very, very far apart. If
you bet Clear Air at 7-2, you need to go get counseling now. betting that thing is stupid anyway. But if you took 7-2 on that horse, go get help.
What do you think about taking, what was that horse? What were the odds on Life is Good? Like 2-1?
Yeah, 2-1. Go get help if you took it 2-1 on any future horse in the Kentucky Derby ever in your whole life.
For anybody that's wondering, what's this guy talking about? He's crazy. Give me what were the odds on American Pharoah when he won the Kentucky Derby?
He paid $780, so he was almost 3-1. He was 5-2.
What was Justify?
So he paid $780. He was almost 3-1. He ended up 5-2.
So you're telling me Life is Good is better than those two?
Well, and not only that, it's you're gonna get, at worst, he'll be like 8-5. At worst.
It's just so, and you don't even know if he's gonna make the gate. That's the thing. Like anything could happen. He gets hurt, and maybe you spend $1,000. Why not wait till the race? I never. I'm a little bit less critical than you are of it, because it's like if you're gonna take 50-1 on a horse, great. You know what I mean? Like if you think that, if you just really love that, like if you think that horse is gonna win the Louisiana Derby, so I'm gonna take him at 50-1 because he's gonna be, 10-1 in the Kentucky Derby. I get it. There's value to be had there, but there's no value of taking Life is Good at 2-1 in March,
right?
When he's going to be 8-5 at worst, 2 months from then. So
if you're going to play him, just take shots.
Take swings. Yeah, exactly.
Because you're going to miss him anyway, so you might as well have a price.
Yeah, you might as well have a hope that you can cash in big, right?
Yeah. If you bet favorites in that, I mean, you're out of your mind. Clear Air, I wish there was a prop bet of what she will go off on Kentucky Oaks Day. Because I kind of think Travel Column's going to win next time they face each other. And Clear Air might be like 6-1 on Kentucky Oaks Day.
Hey, I just got word that Cohen is watching. So, hey, Cohen. What's up, buddy?
No more cussing.
Boy. Oh, well, yeah. Nope. His favorite horse to pick is the 8 horse. And there's no 8 in here, Cohen, so I don't know who you're going to take. So give me your pick here. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, and finally, race 10, the Hot Spring Stakes, also known in the future as the Whitmore Stakes, 200K, 4-year-olds and up, going 6 furlongs. Field of 7 lines up for this one. Speaking of Whitmore, he's in the race, 8-5. Favorite, number 6, Whitmore, who just came off that Breeders' Cup win, which is unbelievable, right? He comes back for his 8-year-old campaign. That's right. He's 8. The big guy's 8-5. Morning line favorite. He's gonna try to beat the 2-1 horse on his outside. CZ Rocket. Peter Miller comes in, brings this one. He's gonna be tough. 9-2 on Flagstaff, 5-1 on Boulder. But to me, handicapping the race, it really became, who am I gonna pick, the 6 or the 7?
That's where I fell. I debated between the 6 and the 7. I almost went Flagstaff. I thought about that. It's been disappointing too many times.
Yeah.
Whitmore's won this race 4 times. This is his home track. It's just really hard for me to ever pick against him here in Hot Springs. I think he wins this one. I think it's his 5th straight. I use CZ Rocket as well, but Whitmore all the way. He's one of my most, my all-time favorite horses. And, you're not going to hear me go against him here.
I've got word that Cohen has picked the 1. So the 1. Boulder, not a bad choice. 5-1, Steve Asmussen. Pulling for the upset, coming off that big win in the King Cotton. All right. And I'm with you, man. Ultimately, it's like 6 or 7. And it's just like, dude, it's Whitmore. And part of it might be biased because it's like the heartstrings. It's like Whitmore's going to win. It's just his race. He always wins his race. And so it maybe came up a little bit tougher just because CZ Rocket and Peter Miller. But part of me just thinks that, CZ Rocket's he'll try. He's going to run his race. He's going to run a big one, and the old guy's going to do it. You know what I mean? Like Whitmore's just going to be too good. He deserves it. I mean, he deserves a win here because everyone's rooting for him to come back home and off his Breeders' Cup Sprint win. So yeah, I'm with you. Whitmore, to me, I think you play those two horses and you move on. I'd just be really surprised. Maybe the one for Cohen, but the 6 is just, I don't know. Like, is it me or is it like, I'm trying to get past the bias of wanting him to win versus thinking he's going to win.
Well, he beat CZ Rocket last time out pretty easily. So there's that. If you look at the careers from a whole body of work, Whitmore is a better horse. It's just a matter of, how's Miller got that horse feeling? Certainly,
yeah, exactly.
CZ Rocket can win. He can beat Whitmore. There's no doubt. But I think, at their core, if they both run their best race, I think Whitmore's a better horse. Bias is definitely in there for me, but I do feel that way. I feel like Whitmore's better than CZ Rocket. So hopefully he proves it. But, what are you going to do? Would you be shocked if CZ Rocket wins? No. But,
I mean, you look back at, like, say, 2018 when he 2018 to 2019, he finished second to Roy H in the sprint, and then he comes back and wins the Hot Springs. It's just kind of like his thing to do. When he comes off of a whatever race, King Cotton. Sometime last year he ran in the King Cotton, finished second. Then he goes and wins the Hot Springs. So it just feels like it's that kind of thing. He's going to come off the layoff. He's going to come win the Hot Springs. That's what he does. So I'm with you for my heart, for my money. Number 6, Whitmore. We're both on him. All right. Yeah, that's that's the thing about Whitmore is that you just can't trust the guy. Like he's in this situation, he's really good. He's really good early on at Oaklawn.
Yep.
But you get into the later, whatever, whether it's Count Fleet or go into the Vanderbilt or whatever, he becomes very dicey.
No doubt. Yeah. He usually gets worse as his his group of races go on. So he'll say he has 5 races and then he's off 6 months and then he's got another 3 or 4 races. Usually that first, second, third race, he's really good. And then the 4th and 5th, he starts to tail off. They give him a break, and then the same cycle goes on again. He's not one that can string together a whole year. He's never been able to really do that. I shouldn't say never. Hell, he's 8. He may have won it earlier. But, here in these later years, he needs breaks. But the good news is he's had a pretty good break here, so he should be ready to run.
But I've never seen a horse that's more – in my following, I don't know if I can think of a horse that I've heard more is done. Is hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Is never going to run. Is not what he used to be, or whatever. Spit. You put in the words. Than Whitmore. You know what I mean? And $4 million later, or whatever it is, he's won. He's still running. I'll wait to answer that question on the live stream, like when we go live, but or when we're doing for the pod. But I want to talk about Brooklyn Strong in a second.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1. So all the time we have, check us out at racingdudes.com for free picks and our premium selections on our products page. Click the products link at the main menu at racingdudes.com to learn more of the new site. So all you got to do is click the big ass button that says Get Racing Dudes Premium. You can buy all the products there. You can get the new wagering guide, which, by the way, is available right now. The 2021 Rebel Stakes Wager Guide available right now on the premium page, the products page at racingdudes.com. You get it for free if you're a premium subscriber, or get it by purchasing individually. You can get that at racingdudes.com. We have a whole new website. You got to go check that out. The dashboard's improved on the back end, so if you buy something, you can access everything a lot easier. Obviously, we've got all the information you need for the upcoming Triple Crown Trail, the Kentucky Derby. Someone asked us a question. Gents, any word on Brooklyn Strong's next race? Well, the Wood apparently is where he is going to go. And if you need help finding that, you just got to go to racejuice.com. I just talked about it. And you just got to go to the Kentucky Derby page where Halterman is consistently ranking his top 20 horses. You can see here. It's on, all you got to do is go to, on the racingdudes.com website, go to horses, Kentucky Derby, and you can see there, click Kentucky Derby. You can get all top 20 active horses right now, who he's got ranked top 20. And you can see number 20, Randolph, Brooklyn Strong. His next start is the Wood Memorial. So that's the plan for Brooklyn Strong, the Wood Memorial. So there you go. So this page is, it's not just helpful for our fans, but it's helpful for me. I mean, you and I use it all the time because it's like, okay, where, you obviously, if you keep scrolling, you've got the points or the races and who's won those races. You keep going, you can see the latest news on these horses. You can see the points, who's in the league, Greatest Honor, Life is Good. You can kind of just get it's just a one-stop page for everything you need towards the Kentucky Derby Trail. So there you go. Brooklyn Strong heading to the Wood Memorial. The Wood Memorial may not be super strong, but it seems like there's a lot of horses are going to be pointing to that race.
Yep.
Whether it be because it's not, thinking, well, it's not going to be that strong of a race, so let's run them there. But it'll be interesting to see. That's going to be a race that a lot of people are going to need points, right? And only a few horses will be able to get enough points to get in the Derby.
Yep, no doubt. That's how almost all of these are going to be starting next week with the Louisiana Derby. It's definitely going to start being a scramble, and it's do or die basically. And that's kind of what, when we always used to go to the Arkansas Derby, man, that was definitely that intense feeling of this horse has to finish top 2 or he's not going, or this horse has to hit the board or he's not going. So that's what makes these last races special.
Oh yeah. I mean, like we talked about earlier with prevalence, you want to get in the Derby gate. That's all you want, and last week we saw 2 horses that maybe shouldn't, we'll see, Wayburn and Helium that maybe, but they got 50 points, they're in. Helium's going straight to the Derby. He's in. Unless he gets hurt, he's in.
Yep.
So the gates keep reducing. We keep losing spots in the gates, and so, like you say, you've got to get the points because it seems like it's going to take a decent amount of points to get in.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, it always we get to this point and you're like, oh gosh, this horse. I mean, it's getting desperate. He better win here. And that's how it goes when you get to this point, because you start looking, it's like, damn, he's going to need 30, 40 points to get in. Now, obviously, we'll have defections. That'll happen. But as of right now, the scramble is definitely on. So, yeah, that's what makes this next 3-4 weeks a hell of a lot of fun.
And see, right there is a big reason why some people are, it depends on who you ask, either for or against the new, quote unquote, new Derby point system, because that's the way it's set up is definitely setting up to be much more top heavy when you get to the Kentucky Derby, because it's hard. These horses are running good races to get into the Derby, and then they're in, right? Mm-hmm. And then that 20 gets cut to like 5 that really have a solid chance of winning the race. And so it becomes a lot harder to pick a Mind That Bird or something. Yep. In that sense, to get, even if you want to talk about Country House, he didn't win the race. He got very fortunate to get a DQ'd in his favor, but he didn't win the race. So a very legitimate, very quote unquote predictable outcome actually happened, and he just got DQ'd. So it makes it really tough to pick long shots the way it's set up now.
It definitely is. It definitely feels like since this started, you definitely get the shorter prices, but we don't have a ton of data on it. This hasn't been going on for all that long, so we'll see. Let's give it some more time. I only miss the old system because it lessened, the importance of big races as 2-year-olds. But some people like that. Some people think that's fine. So to each their own. Listen, no system will ever be perfect with this. We're all going to have our things we like and dislike. So overall, though, it's done a pretty good job of crowning a worthy Derby champion. So I guess that's what you want.
And honestly, like, and I am as guilty as anybody of bringing up Mind That Bird every time when it comes to he wouldn't have got in.
Right.
He is such a like outlier when it comes to like, if you really look back at his triple crown run, it's unmatched. It's unheard of. It's something that I'm so fortunate that I was you and I both were brand new to the game, but we got to witness it. And it was just one of those things that makes even to this day that, we got to the point where we know too much.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't make any sense to me how that horse was able to do what he did. He wins the Kentucky Derby, obviously, in the most unbelievable fashion. He wins the Preakness if it's not for a super filly named Rachel Alexandra. And with a better ride, he may have won the Belmont. I mean, this is a horse that would have gone into the Belmont for the Triple Crown. That finished third, and it was a really shitty ride by Calvin. I always say he was going for the Triple Crown without a super filly, and that's a horse the horse couldn't even finish a race a year later at the Breeders' Cup when you and I were watching him with when he was with D. Wayne. So I think the point of that is like he was such an outlier that it's hard to really say, well, he got in. So, it's hard to say, it's just totally different because he just doesn't make any sense.
So here's a little homework project. Report back to us next week. Go to Equibase, search Mind That Bird, look at his races leading up to the Kentucky Derby, and make an argument that he deserved to be in the race because he didn't. So, but he got in and he won, and I'm happy that he did. Don't get me wrong. This is not a hate fest on Mind That Bird. That was exciting. That was a very exciting when you had him and Rachel in there together, man. That really got everybody pumped, and that was awesome. But he didn't, look at before the Kentucky Derby. That horse, there's no way you would have thought that he could be in the race even.
It's just, and it's like I say, we are. It's a fortunate thing that we are what we are, and obviously, very well known. But at the same time, so much about knowing who he was trained by, and knowing everything else. It just makes even that. It's just like those 3 races. That's the only 3 races really he ever ran that were good. It just makes no sense. Like you can't make any rhyme or reason to it. You can't. And if he wins the Derby, great. But if he's like 8th in the Preakness and then doesn't even run the Belmont or 8th again, whatever it is, you're like, well, that was a fluke. But to run, as we know in this, it's hard to run 3 really good races in a row, especially the Triple Crown, 3 in 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
For that horse who was about the size of you, like it doesn't make sense. And so they should make a 30 for 30 on that horse or something, because it really was an unbelievable thing in sports history that horse was able to do. Even though he only won the Derby, you have to respect how well he ran those other 2 races.
That's the thing. He almost, the Preakness, he ran so well, and I thought that validated the Derby, because the Derby, you definitely, the way the weather was, and like the crazy way that horse closed, and the crazy ass trip that it got, I know, right? Kind of just say, well, that was the biggest fluke of all time. But like you eloquently put it out or threw out there, he was the best male horse in the Preakness, and not only was he the best. He was a lot the best.
Yeah.
He was clear of the 3rd place horse in the Preakness. He just ran into one of the best fillies we'll ever see at age 3. Mm-hmm. I mean, and you're right. I mean, the ride in the Belmont was horrendous. I don't know if he would have beat Summer Bird, but he would have been a hell of a lot closer. He definitely would have got 2nd. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. The horse got into the Kentucky Derby because he won the Gray Stakes at Woodbine. You guys know what the Gray Stakes is at Woodbine. That's how he got in.
Yep.
I mean, it's wild.
The trainer was was on crutches in the mud, walking, and no one even knew why he was there. The horse got vanned in the day before or whatever. Like it just was like there was like the horse had also ran written all over him. Like there was no way this horse was any good. And yeah. So, anyways, we could talk. We need to have a Mind That Bird at like happy hour or something, because you don't. It was funny because that was like the first Kentucky Derby that I always watched every Kentucky Derby. That was the first Kentucky Derby that I like really knew every horse going into the race. You know what I mean? Like other than Mind That Bird honestly was one you're like, who? But you knew a lot. It was the first time I really cared about it, I guess I could say. And so I was like, wow, this happens all the time, huh? Like it's like no, it does not. So
in his final prep, he ran in the Sunland Derby, and he was beaten. He was fourth, and he was beaten by Kelly Leak. That sounds like a human being, not a horse. Mythical Power and Score with Cater. I've never heard of those three horses.
We have some people still listening to this show. I know you probably know the answer. Who did he beat in the Derby? Name the horse who got second.
Oh, Pioneer of the Nile.
No, I said not you.
Oh,
I wanted the people to answer. Yes, of course it was Pioneer of the Nile, which is amazing because obviously a great sired American Pharaoh, continued the drought for the Zayats, and it seemed like shit, we can never win one, right? Pioneer of the Nile was, was one of the top choices in the race that year, and but yeah, I mean, it wasn't like he beat nothing. So it's a crazy ass story. All right, you gotta check out racingnews.com. We don't talk about Mind That Bird too much on the website anymore. But if you want some free picks, go check that out, racingdudes.com. Check out the revamped site. We're on Twitter at racing_dudes, Instagram, Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, website, racingdudes.com. Remember, check out the Magic Mike Show. They did I think they did the late pick 4 right at Santa Anita Park. So go check that out. So you want some more information on maybe whether it be the Beholder. Kelly Leak was the main character from the Bad News Bears. What is that?
He's right. The Bad News Bears. Have you ever watched that?
Yeah, like the original. Oh yeah.
I knew Kelly, but I didn't. Are you sure it's Kelly Leak? Yeah, Kelly Leak, Bad News Bears. Yeah, Kelly's the kid. He's like smoking cigarettes at the end.
He's the stud, right?
Oh my God, Randy, I never would have come up with Kelly Leak. That is fucking hilarious. I just watched that movie the other day too.
It's a good one.
Tanner was always like, he ain't gonna play. Tanner the shortstop. I loved him.
Yeah. The remake with Billy Bob was pretty funny too.
Yeah, it was good.
But of course, the original. You can't beat the original.
Yeah.
Check out the Magic.
That is funny. That is great.
Check out the Magic Mike Show for the late pick 4 sequence of Santa Anita Park. So if you want some more, either Beholder Mile, or if you want to how they're going to play that, go check out Magic Mike Show. Any last thoughts?
That comment made me so happy. I looked up Kelly Leak, the horse. Let's see. He won an allowance at Santa Anita, a claiming race at Hollywood Park, a claiming race at Hawthorne. That was his 3 wins after the Sunland Derby. And I can't count it, but I would say he raced 35 times after the Sunland Derby and won 3. And that horse easily beat the Kentucky Derby winner. That's how unbelievable that race was.
I mean, I've got no words for that.
It's crazy.
How could you? I mean, and yeah, it's easy to say, yeah, he belonged to the Derby, but to say, like you're saying to that point, if you watch the Sunland Derby and say, yeah, that horse needs to be in the Kentucky Derby, meaning Mind That Bird, you're like, you're crazy. No way. But well-traveled horse. Yes, he was. Kelly Leak. There you go. Shout out to Bad News Bears. Shout out to Mind That Bird. Kelly Leak. Beat the Derby winner. All right. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight, and good luck this weekend.